Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa Ann Spencer, and today I'm going to be videoing an end of the month garden collaboration for the end of August, even though it is already the 5th of September. I've been super busy, traveled out of town. The garden was producing a lot, and I've been taking some things to market to sell my excess. I've just been so busy. All the chickens are congregating right over here in the shade. It's hot. It has cooled off, but it's still kind of warm, unseasonably warmer than usual. So it's pretty miserable out here. I got dressed because I had to go to town this morning, and I thought I need to get this video made. So here I am. I think that today's video will be pretty short. So before I get going with the garden tour, let me first mention Victoria, the hostess at Home Educating the Mad Lads, and Maria at the Richardson Simple Living. Their links will be below as usual. Go check out their channels and anybody else who might be participating this month. There was a question of the month, which seems to have been my idea. And I think Victoria said it was, do you garden by yourself or do you garden with others? I predominantly garden alone. I've tried to encourage my children. I have 6. They range in age from 28 all the way down to 15. When they were young, I could tell them to garden or encourage them to garden, but as they've gotten older and they've chosen their hobbies, garden is generally speaking not their hobby. It's just been mine. So I don't make them garden. Gosh. I don't make them garden because I don't want them to hate it. Sometimes I do have to ask them for help. My husband will step in and help me with some of the hard things with the tilling and mowing, and my son, my second-born son, will also help me. So anyhow, enough chit-chat. I'm very busy today. I'm getting ready for market tomorrow, so I'm just going to flip the camera around and give you a brief tour. All right, getting away from the noisy chickens. The pots are really struggling in the heat, but you can see that I still got tomatoes over here producing very well. The season is coming to a close, but we're transitioning, or trying to, over to fall plants. I've got a few, like here is just a small sampling of Swiss chard and kale. My broccoli did not germinate very well, so I'm going to have to try again. But I am transitioning over to some fall gardening. Let's just take a look here. You see my sprinkler is out because it has not rained. I know it's been over 25 days. It's probably been a whole month since it's rained, so I'm having to water just to keep everything going. My flowers are looking, they're still looking good. I do take a few bouquets of cut flowers to market. And these right here, this is a winter radish that I sowed, and evidently it is very happy. I have sown some carrots, and you see mostly weeds and grass, but there are a few carrots interspersed here and there. There's a nice little stand of carrots. And then I have transplanted a few little Brussels and broccolis. There's a few. A lot of them just died from the drought. I couldn't keep them watered. Then we went out of town. Oh, look at this. This is a carrot from early spring that was left and has gone to seed. It's really beautiful. Looks like a Queen Anne's lace. So I may actually try to save me some carrot seeds. Let's see, same over here. Here's some little baby cabbages. They are hanging on. Some of them are doing better than others. The big ones are up here. These look better. So trying to plant a few fall things even though it's so hot. This is my row of basil. You can see that almost all of it has gone to seed. We did make some pesto, and I do still cut a few and take to market. But it is also about to approach the end of its usable life. I pulled out the remainder of the beets in this row. This is parsley, curly parsley, and flat leaf parsley growing side by side. And I'm still dehydrating those. There's a couple of little cabbages here. And then Swiss chard. It's still looking pretty healthy. And I cut a little bit each week and take to market. If it doesn't sell, then we make a Swiss chard quiche. Got my Martin peas here still producing. I just keep those picked weekly and we eat, and I save seeds. The sunflowers are all going to seeds, and really the birds have just been eating them up. You can see there where the seeds are missing from it. Let me zoom in, because the goldfinches sit on top and they pluck the seeds out, which I'm totally fine with that. I will, whatever's left, dry and store for seeds and for seeds for planting next year, and also for my chickens, just as a wintertime treat. You can see the towering sunflowers way up high in the sky. And then my okra, can you see that okra? That's about 10 feet tall. I've got to cut those today or tomorrow for market, but you can see how spindly the row looks. Everything's dry. It's approaching the end of the season. The tomatoes have mostly succumbed to blight. This one here completely. But you can see a couple of little tomatoes there. And there's a green one with a hole in it. But then if you get back here, these are still doing really well. Look at those. That's a pretty sizable tomato there. So I am still getting a few tomatoes. Here's more. Even though some of the plants have died back, they're still green and producing. So got tomatoes. The cherries, these two rows are predominantly cherries. And they have finally slowed down. You see lots of grass. My eggplant is no longer producing. Yeah, this looks pretty much like a wasteland. I don't even know if I'll have cherries to take to market this week. It looks like no. I mean, there's a few right there. Okay, so this back row is my peppers. The deer came while we were on vacation. Our dog was in the boarding facility, so the deer came along, and you see where they just munched this pepper plant. That one, they completely ate back. Got some really nice bells on this one, but now they're going to get sun scald. So, I don't know. The jalapenos are doing, I mean, I say they're doing well. You can see where the deer bit them. They're really loaded with jalapenos. I mean, just loaded. But normally these plants would get like waist high, and they're really just above my knees. So this one's doing very nicely. Loaded with jalapenos. Got a couple of little eggplants here on this Chinese variety, but you see the plant is just being eaten up with flea beetles. I've stopped spraying it. Again, no need to. We're at the end of the season. My flowers are looking very dry and struggling. Oh, the dahlias are beautiful though. Let me show you the dahlias. Look at them. Isn't that pretty? Look at this big, beautiful one. Yeah, that's lovely. But it is just bone dry over here. Everything's dry. My rain barrel is empty. Now up here is my watermelon field, and it's mostly grown over with grass, but we have harvested a dozen or more watermelons, and there's probably a dozen more out here. They're everywhere. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Here's a big monster, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, about 25 melons out here. So I can't remember if I showed you this last week, but one of the indicators of a watermelon's ripeness is you find, this is probably going to be challenging. So the stem end and where it connects to the plant, this thing is so heavy. Okay, and then there's a tendril, the little curlicue, and it's completely dry. So once that tendril is dry, that's a good indicator of ripeness. And then you would roll it over and look at its belly, and it is still white, but it's not as white as it was like last week. It's starting to turn creamy. So this one is very likely ripe and ready to be picked. So I'll check all of them. I'll pick the ones that have the dry tendrils and take those to market with me tomorrow. I was going to see if I could find one with a green tendril. Okay, see this one, stem. Nope, look, the tendril is completely dry. Oh, here's a different kind. It's stripy. This one, the stem, and then see the nearest tendril is still very green and supple. So this one is not right. Turn it over, and the belly, it looks, yeah, it's hard to tell because it's so dirty. Anyway, has a real pingy sound, which means it's not ripe. So, okay. Let's go over to this third area, and there's really nothing happening here except that we've allowed the chickens now to come over here, but they're not used to it yet. See, there's one. Open. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm spinning you around in circles, but I have to latch this behind me. I don't want the chickens in the yard. There's a couple of them. So we made a new door in the side of the lean-to, the coop here, and the chickens can come out this way, but they seem to be reluctant. They want to go out the old way into the old paddock. But pretty soon we're going to close that one off because I'm going to mow and till the entire thing to plant my fall greens there. So there's a door over here, which is open now, so that they can also come this way. And they're following me. You're hilarious. So over here is where my cucumbers, squash, zucchini, and of course you see there's a couple of standing corn still here because they're not completely dry. And I had planted some beans. I'm surprised the chickens hadn't just tore those up, but the chickens have already cleaned up these rows. Like I pulled the vegetation out, the cucumber vines and all the squash vines and cantaloupe vines, threw them in my compost, but they've already started to work this area. And what they will do is they will go through and they'll get all the bugs out, which is the main thing, pest control. And of course they're pooping as they go, which is putting a little bit of fertilizer back into the system. Here's the raspberry canes, and they've already scratched a great deal under the raspberries. They won't hurt the raspberries, and their scratching should actually rid them of any pests that are in the ground. So that's my plan anyway. And then my strawberry bed that has my chamomile growing in it here. Oh, and my asparagus. I just left it open, but I don't think that they'll bother it. But I put chicken wire. Oh gosh, those chickens are loud. I put chicken wire over it and hoops and anchored it with some tent stakes so the chickens cannot get in there and scratch up my strawberries. And you can see where they've already dug down. See all the hay? They've scattered the edge. So they would get in there if they could. Right here, look where they dust bathe, right there. All right, I believe that's it. I don't think that there's much else going on in the garden this time of year. What I'm hoping for is some rain. We need rain, and I'm looking forward actually to the garden season being over with for a little break or a change to the fall crops anyway. I'm sorry, I keep wiping the sweat off my eyes and I keep touching the microphone. Just wanted to show you, these are the newly planted blueberries, you know, that was planted about 3 months ago maybe. And they're doing really well. They're already showing their fall colors too. So we are getting ready for fall here. And of course, I guess I should show you my marigold row. It is just in full bloom. I think maybe last month it had just started to bud, but look at those gorgeous flowers. There's little butterflies all over them. And I don't know about you, but I do love marigolds. I'm gonna collect thousands of seeds, and I'm gonna border this entire area with marigolds next year, make kind of a living fence with marigolds. That's my plan. You can see here that all the leaves fell off the cherry tree. I guess that's what they do. So as soon as the weather turns really cold and I'm sure it's completely dormant, I'm gonna give it a good trim. So hopefully we'll get more cherries next year than we did this year. Okay, I am sweating. It's so hot and unpleasant. I picked the worst time of day to do this. But like I said, I was dressed for town and thought now would be a good time to make this video. So it is September 5th. And I'm going to try really hard to do an end of September garden collaboration, garden update. And maybe by then I'll have this area over here behind me all tilled up and sown in some fall greens. I'm going to do turnips and collards and mustard and maybe some more of the winter radishes. And we'll let that grow as long as we can. The freeze will knock it back, but it won't kill it completely until it gets really cold. So we'll have some greens to eat on through the winter. And then next spring, we'll turn the chickens back into there and then they can clean it all up for us. So that's the plan. When we garden, we often have lots and lots of plans. Some things work out the way you hope they do, and some things don't. So fingers crossed for, good luck, good chance. And all right, I wish you all happy gardening. Thanks for stopping by and watching to the end. Be sure to check out the links below, and I'll see you next month.